everybody, welcome to my channel, and today I am recapping Raina's recap, the G7 Halifax Environmental Ministers Conference, where I got to meet my idol, Dr. Sylvia Earle. So the G7 Environmental Conference was this really cool conference that brought together the seven G7 countries that all, they all agree to certain things, and it brought in people from like the UN and world leaders and presidents and prime ministers and just like really high up people in the science world and humanitarian and all kinds of really cool stuff like that. And they all got together to discuss world issues, and this particular event that I was present for was about the ocean and about plastic pollution and what can we do as everyday people and what can we do as leaders to help with the ocean. And I got hired to do this event, which I will talk about separately. I want to tell you about meeting Dr. Sylvia Earle first. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about Dr. Sylvia Earle. If you don't know who she is, go to Netflix, type in Mission Blue, and check out her amazing documentary. It documents a lot of her life, and it also documents the amazing activism work that she is doing trying to protect our oceans. So I'm going to read you a little bit from Wikipedia. If you want to know more, definitely Google her. So Sylvia Earle is an American marine biologist, author, explorer, and lecturer. She has been a National Geographic Explorer in Residence since 1998. She was the first female chief scientist for NOAA, that's the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration. And she made a joke that they used to call her the Sturgeon General there, which is like a play on Surgeon General. And she was named by Time magazine as its first hero for the planet in 1998. She is also part of the group Ocean Elders, who are dedicated to protecting the oceans and wildlife. She has an amazing TED Talk that you can go see. It's on YouTube, and she was actually given an award by TED, which was really amazing. And she is just, like, as a female scientist back then, because Dr. Sylvia Earle is actually 83 years old. So, like, 62 years ago when she started on this journey, Dr. Earle was like this young, vibrant woman, and she was taking part in a field that was very heavily dominated by men. And she was just like a really big go-getter and super inspiring to women everywhere. And throughout her life, she's made all these achievements that have not only helped the ocean and further science, but have actually helped women as well. She's a really empowering lady. And as part of this event, I got to hear her speak, and hearing her speak was just, I have parts of her talk, and one of the things that really resonated with me is I actually got to ask her a question in front of everybody, and it was broadcasted on TV and everything.
When I talk to children and youth, is that the topic of what's going on in our environment is so overwhelming and frankly quite scary, and it's hard to tell people what is a good place to start. So I was wondering, if you were to pick one thing that we could all walk away with today that we could do to make a change, what do you think that one doable thing would be?
That's an excellent final question from the audience.
Okay. The one thing I would suggest is pick up a mirror. Look in a mirror and look at yourself and say, who am I? What can I do that is special? Because everyone has power. Some people have superpowers. When you think about it, we all have superpowers because we know what no one, even Einstein, Aristotle, name the great brain trust of the past, what they could not know, that you can know. We have superpowers to understand who we are, where we've come from, where we might be going, and do you sing? Do you have a way with numbers? Are you good with kids? Are you a CEO? Are you a teacher, a mom, a dad, a kid? You all have something that is special about you that you can use.
I asked her what is one thing that we could all do, that we could take away from these talks and these meetings and feel empowered. What was one change that we could all make for our oceans? And she actually said the one thing you can do is look in the mirror and identify your own talents, and then find find a way to use those talents to better help the ocean. And I found that very validating because I think that's what I do. What I do as a mermaid is really crazy. And then my background is in child development and education, and I've brought that all together to create an ocean literacy conservation program that I teach, and I go around and do these things and do World Oceans Day and do beach cleanups, and I just try to empower kids because it can be really scary for kids to know, what is facing us these days with our environment. And Dr. Earle was like all over kids. She was so cool. She said, "No child left dry." And I swear it needs to be put on a t-shirt. Dr. Earle's wish and hope for children is that every child gets a chance to be in the ocean, and she wants every person to be able to go in a submarine someday. She's hoping that submersibles will become like more commonplace so that we can all go down into the ocean and enjoy it and see it, because she believes that if we get to experience the ocean, we will love the ocean, we will want to protect the ocean. And let me tell you, like, she is a no BSer. Like, in her talk, like, she was throwing some hard hits. She was calling out passive aggressively some politicians and presidents and things. It was really cool. She's such a feisty lady, and she kept doing things like this. Like, I just loved her. She was so amazing. So when I went up to meet her, I was really nervous, and I had one of my books that a mermaid who used to work for me gave me. It's The World is Blue, How Our Fate and the Oceans Are One. And it talks a lot about the Deepwater Horizon oil spill. And it's a really amazing book. I found it really empowering. It's quite a few years old now, but it's really well written. She's really easy to read. If you want to pick up a science book and understand, pick up one of her books or watch her documentary, because she's just so eloquent with speaking. She really makes it something that any person can understand. It's really cool. So anyway, I had my book, and I walked up to her, and I know that she's met professional mermaids before because she speaks at 8X and there were professional mermaids there, and I was kind of, shy, and this is this big event and there's all these people, and there's this little cute old lady, and she's got her entourage around her, and one of them is like this woman from the UN. And so I go up and I'm like, "Hi, Dr. Sylvia Earle, I'm a big fan, and I was hoping you would sign my book." And so I give her my book, and she goes to a specific page, and now this book was actually bought with a signature on it. Like, I think it was bought from her website, and so she actually already signed it, but it wasn't like personal, it was just like pre-signed. So she went to that, and at first I was kind of embarrassed because I was like, "Oh yeah, it's already signed," but I just want another signature. So then she started writing, and I'll tell you what it says in a minute. And she wasn't saying anything, and I overheard her entourage say like that she needed to go for food, and I felt really bad that I was like interrupting her while she was doing things, and I couldn't help it. Like, you guys see how excited I get. I was like babbling on, and I was with Mermaid Chihuahua and my friend Axel, who's a diver, and I was just like, "I'm a really big fan, and you really inspire me, and I have a mermaid company, and I know that you've met mermaids before, but like, I was one of the first ones here," and I just like babbled on and on. And she just kind of looked at me with this twinkle in her eye, like an almost devious twinkle. And I'm sitting here, and I take my book back from her, and she, gives me a wave, and she's on her way, and she like didn't say a word. Actually no, we snuck in a picture really quick, and she smiled, which was nice. And then she kind of went off on her way, and I was like, "Oh my god, I bothered Sylvia Earle, blah, blah, blah." And then I opened my book, and I realized that she'd been listening to everything I said and was like trying to incorporate it into like a little piece of writing. So it says, "For Raina, a real mermaid," and she underlined "real" with waves, "with deepest admiration." With deepest admiration, Sylvia. And she dated it. Like, I can't even begin to tell you guys. I never thought I would get to meet this woman. I thought she was always going to be like this unobtainable dream of mine. I mean, she's 83 years old and she's still very healthy and active, but I just thought that, I would outlive her and not get to meet her, and our paths would never cross. I used to read about her in National Geographic. I used to clip out pictures and articles and take them into school and like keep a scrapbook, and I had these Jacques Cousteau books, and he talked about her, and it was mind-blowing to me. I just never thought that this icon from my whole life would be somebody that my mermaid journey would bring me to. And just to have my mermaid journey taken so seriously that I got invited to the G7 environmental event was just mind-blowing. So she signs it, and I'm super happy. And then Later, so we listened to her talk, and it was amazing, and we checked out some of the exhibitors and learned a lot, and then we had to come back later on in the evening because Mimi and I were doing a tank show. We were hired to do a mermaid themed tank show for this event. And it's like September here, which is fall, and it's like 12 degrees Celsius outside, and I'm terrified of being cold. And they fill our tank with super hot water, and our tank is fiberglass, so it actually kept in all the heat. So even though I was really scared of being cold, I was actually too hot in the tank. So I toughed it out and toughed it out and toughed it out, and I was joking with Mimi, and I said, like, you watch, I'm gonna get out of this tank, and then Sylvia Earle will come over, like, and it was like hours and hours later, so I wasn't expecting her to be there. Sure enough, I finally get out of the tank, and it's Mimi's turn in the tank, and she looks gorgeous and beautiful and flowing, and I'm kind of hunched over sitting next to her, and there's Dr. Earle. And I go, hey Dr. Earle, thank you so much for signing my book earlier. And she turns, and then I can see that the recognition is in her eyes, and she realizes who we are, and her like assistant slash handler is trying to like direct her away because they're done, and she literally is like she turns and she comes over to us, and she's so cute. She's so cute.
So I don't know if everybody else knows this, but everybody calls her her deep.
Oh, I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it.
Okay, one more with Lisa.
Oh, yes, yes, yes,
Hey,
yes.
you know what? I'm not missing my chance.
So we got pictures with her, and she taught Mimi how to do a funny little hand thing, and then it was like a squid clap instead of like a fish bump or a high five. It was like a squid one. And then she took one of our postcards and she held it up for a picture, and then she held it to her heart, and it was just like melting. And there was like a photo booth where she could take her own picture, and she did, and then she put her phone number in it to send it to herself, and my mind was like blowing. And I was sitting right there, so I was like, I better not look. I don't think I should know Sylvia Earle's phone number.
Thank you. That's very cute.
Text your, put your phone number in there. And I'll text you.
Oh, awesome! Fish that.
Giant squid.
I love that. That's fantastic. You gotta try it. There's a little postcard in there too. That's our
That
mermaid
is so
pond.
amazing. Thank you. Wow.
You guys have no idea what a big deal
This is a
for us.
huge deal.
We've been
Yeah.
following Dr. Earle since
Forever. Yeah.
And she was like the National Geographic explorer who inspired so many young girls to get into ocean science.
Wow.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Yes, thank you so much.
No, I can't have one.
We are free divers, but not that free.
It's hard to hear me.
That's perfect, right? Like, that's awesome.
Big smiles.
This is amazing.
And it was just like one of the most magical moments of my whole mermaid life. I just never thought starting a mermaid company 10 years ago was going to give me such an amazing experience like this. Like, I'm gonna be an old lady and still remember this. Like, it was just so amazing, you guys. Follow your dreams, because you don't know what will happen. Just do it. Just do it. You only live once. Follow your dreams. So Mimi and I did the rest of the gig. It was really wonderful, and we didn't freeze until like the last half an hour, and we performed in the tank, and people had a photo booth, and then my hair dye turned the tank water orange at the very end. At first, like, in our pictures, the water was coming out like a funky color, but it was because we had a black light over top of us, and that was messing up with the flash and the light, so it was making the water look like murky, and it wasn't actually murky at all. Like, in real life it was perfectly crystal clear. But then by the end of it, my hair had just like turned it colors, and I had my wig on and everything, and I had it up under my cap, but it still leaked out. So that was kind of a bummer because the water just looked gross at the end. But I mean, we made it to the end, and they had like this Loch Ness monster sculpture that they had around us, and the company that we worked with, Click Halifax, was really cool, and they took really cool pictures. But yeah, that's my recap. It was a really beautiful, amazing experience, and it really just validated why I do this. Like, she just validated everything about me, like everything about my company, everything about my personal views on the environment. Like, Dr. Sylvia Earle validated it, and what more can we ask for than to be validated by our heroes? Like, it was such an amazing experience. I did not cry. Yeah, so all I can wish for all of you young mermaids who are watching this, and just like maybe you're having a rough time with your mermaid career and wondering if it's worth it, it's worth it. It's hard work. Everything worth having is hard work. It's worth it. So that's my Raina's recap. I hope you enjoyed my fun Sylvia Earle story. I know this one was a little bit longer, but I didn't want to like break it up too much. Please like and subscribe if you like my videos. I do all kinds of videos. Check out my blog, check out my social media, and give me a follow. Lots of love, you guys. Best wishes.